Hey everybody, it's Uncle Doug coming to you again from the basement of one of the ministry houses here in Liberty, Missouri. Wanted to do a video on some revelation the Lord gave me last week. Brother was here, very sweet, having a hard time hearing God. Oh, look at that mess. Was in a hurry. Having a hard time hearing God and wanting to know kind of what was clogging him up. And got a real unusual response from the Lord as I'm kind of asking the Lord what's the problem. The Lord said, He doesn't love me the right way. Or He doesn't love me like He should. That's what He said. He doesn't love me like He should. And I'm thinking, okay, He doesn't love you enough? No, that's not. And the Lord's like, no. So I'm thinking quantity, like He loves God this much and He should love God this much. And the love says, no. Love is a verb. Ask Him, how do you love God? Not how much, but how do you love God? So I ask Him the question, and He sort of tries to answer me in terms of quantity. Well, I love God with all my heart. Okay, it wasn't a quantity question. It was a how question. He's like, well, I read the Bible, and I pray, I try to do right. But he's not really hearing much. He does have a knack of being in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing. So I know the Lord's kind of pushing his sails, blowing on his sailboat, but he's not hearing like he wants to. We kind of talk about it a little bit, and he asks me how he's supposed to love God. And I'm like, well, I didn't get an answer to that, and that may be different for each person. And he says, well, I don't know, I'm not sure I understand. And I said, well, if you ask my wife, how does he love you? She might say, he makes himself available for me. He answers my texts and my phone calls. He brings me a flower. He, shoots the paper off the straw at me in a playful way. He tells me I'm pretty. He tells me he loves me. He, whatever. Those are the hows of loving somebody. But we're not talking about a works-based salvation here. We're talking about expressing love in a behavioral way. So I'll admit that it kind of stumped me. I prayed about it, and a day or so later, I was talking to Cindy about it, and how do you love God? And I said, Lord, how do I love you? He said, you die. Excuse me. I'm like, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Because if I do anything out of my own power, out of my own reason, I think the Lord would like it if I ate fish on Fridays. Or I think the Lord would like it if I did this or that for him. I'd build a giant statue of the Virgin Mary on the Continental Divide in Butte, Montana. That turned out badly. Look it up. I think God would like it if I wrote him a poem. Well, he might. But the best thing is to die to yourself, your flesh, your plans, your expectations, your wants, your desires, your goals, your ambitions, your future, your career, everything you want, and commit yourself only to what he wants. That expresses love. Because then he can do it through you. And what he does through you will probably be vastly different than what you thought he would like as a gift. I hope you can get this. The Bible talks a lot about picking up our cross daily, about being crucified with Christ, about not conforming to the world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will know what is the good, pleasing, perfect will of God. How do you do that? That's Romans 12:2. Well, you go back to Romans 12:1. In thanks for his mercy, we offer our bodies as living sacrifices, holy, pleasing, and acceptable. Okay? So, you offer your body as the goat or the ram or the pigeon to be sacrificed on the altar. You lay there naked, fire's burning, real uncomfortable, and you wait for him to come at you with a big knife, cut your head off, graft his head on. Then you are not conforming to the world, and you will know what is the good, pleasing, perfect will of God. So you can do the perfect will of God, not so you can do the good, pleasing. It's very much not conforming to the world to get up on an altar and lay there naked and wait. They want you doing something. Do something. Get a job. Get a career. Get a degree. Do something. Get lots of degrees. It doesn't matter. At least you're doing something. Jesus says, lay there on the altar and wait. And when he's good and ready, he'll offer you as a sacrifice. Then you'll know. Anyway, so it made me think, go back and look again at, am I dead enough in various places in my life? Am I dead enough here? Am I dead enough there? What's left to lay down that whatever. Anyway, I hope it does something for you too. If you're going to love God, he says, if you love me, obey my commands. Okay? So what's that? Don't gamble, don't drink, don't smoke, don't dance, don't play cards. Now that's the Baptist. If you love me, you'll obey. God says, don't do any of these things in the natural, and don't even think like that. Well, that's going to require a ton of the Holy Spirit to really obey down to your thought life, down to the intentions of your heart. That's going to require you to die and be really full of him to even obey that, which is what he wants, for you to be possessed by Christ, possessed by the Holy Spirit. And then he can just do through you everything that needs doing that you can't do without him anyway. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope that'll work you over a little bit. And take a hard look at all the things you're doing for God and how much maybe some of them are stopping short of actually dying. It may be your idea, maybe tradition, maybe church thing, maybe, I don't know. But the more you die, the more he can live in you and through you, the more people are going to get reached and saved and touched, and the more he'll be glorified as soon as you take your last breath, spiritually speaking, and get out of his way. That was my point at they used blasphemously on the Dr. Phil show. My prayer for the whole world was that we would all die to self, die to the flesh, be willing to wash feet and love one another. And it would change, it would bring world peace, it would change everything. But men aren't willing because of the seed from the snake in the garden. Anyway, God bless you all. Thanks for listening. I hope that little nugget sits in there and does something for you. More later. Bye-bye.